Good evening, Fuzzies. Damaron the Arctic Wolf here. Since I'm no longer going to be doing cooking videos, I'm trying to think of other ways that I can be entertaining to you folks. So, I've decided to do Damaron's short story hour, or short story moment, I guess, because they're short stories. It's not going to take an hour. And some short stories that I've really enjoyed when I was a child were scary stories to tell in the dark. I used to read them religiously when I was in elementary school and up through middle school and so on and so forth. And I read them so much that I have some of the stories memorized by heart. I used to listen to audiobooks that were spoken by George Irving, and the scary stories themselves were collected by Alvin Schwartz, and he wrote a lot of other similar short story titles back then. But the reason this book was so iconic, and I will pull this up here, was a lot of the illustrations by Stephen Gammell were very scary and kind of cryptic, and things that a lot of parents didn't think children should be subjected to at such a young age. But this book has held quite a bit of a legacy and caused quite a stir back in the 80s and early 90s, even so far as to be pulled from a lot of the libraries so that kids could not have access to them. But I did, and it was one of my favorite books growing up. I'm not even going to open the book. It's hard to flip pages with pause, and I'm hoping the audio is good considering the positioning of the camera. But the story that I'm going to tell tonight is Cold as Clay. And this is a bit of a love story, and I hope you like it. Let's begin. Cold as Clay. A farmer had a daughter for whom he cared more than anything on earth. She fell in love with a farmhand named Jim, but the farmer did not think Jim was good enough to meet his daughter. To keep them apart, he sent her to live with her uncle on the other side of the county. Soon after she left, Jim got sick, and he wasted away and died. Everyone said he died of a broken heart. Her father felt so guilty about Jim's death that he could not tell his daughter what had happened. And she continued to think about Jim and the life they might have had together. One night, many weeks later, there was a knock on her uncle's door. When the girl opened the door, Jim was standing there. "Your father asked me to get you," he told her. "I came on his best horse." "Is there anything wrong?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. She packed a few things, then they left. She rode behind him, clinging to his waist. Soon he complained of a headache. "It aches something terrible," he told her. She put her hand on his forehead. "Why, you're as cold as clay," she said. "I hope you're not ill." So she wrapped her handkerchief around his head. They traveled so swiftly that in a few hours they reached the farm. The girl quickly dismounted and knocked on the door. Her father was startled to see her. "Didn't you send for me?" she asked. "No, I didn't," he told her. She turned to Jim, but he was gone, and so was the horse. They went to the stable to look for them. The horse was there, and it was covered with sweat and trembling with fear, but there was no sign of Jim. Terrified, her father told her the truth about Jim's death. Quickly, he went to see Jim's parents. They decided to open his grave. The corpse was in its coffin, but around its head they found the girl's handkerchief. So, that's the end of that story. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for joining me this evening, Damaron, telling you short stories from my past. Love never dies, even from the grave. Stay healthy, wash your paws. Thank you for watching. Good night.